people who use, who are New Yorkers use a lot of status in their speech. And so they talk quickly, they use a very animated, strong tone in their voice, and they don't allow a lot of silences. So when you put New Yorkers with non-New Yorkers, you see that they are quite considerate in their speech. They'll use longer periods of silence, they'll wait their turn to speak a little bit more, and they won't use as much animation in their voices.
Go up to the balcony above the dance floor and look down and see what's going on here. What are some of the patterns that are starting to emerge about how the work is going? Are there certain people clustered around one particular person, one person standing off by themselves?
The differences are that in the 7-step process, we have the ability to acknowledge our contribution to the situation.
First one that comes up is honesty. 88% of people around the world said honesty was important. Second one is forward-looking. The next one up is competency. And then the final one is inspiring. And we have to think about, what does that inspiring mean?
What do effective teams look like? What do dysfunctional teams look like? We looked at the concept of above and below the line, defend, deny, blame, justify, quit, all personal responsibility and the choices that we make between those two. We looked at Tuckman's model as well, the forming, storming, norming, performing and adjourning concept. And as I said, we now get into the more in-depth component of Patrick Lencioni.
Let's just paint a story here. Let's say you're going about your day in your organization and a crisis happens. The heat, if we use the metaphor of cooking, the heat rises rapidly in a crisis moment.
If 14 frogs sat on a log and 3 of them decided to jump in the river, how many frogs would be left on the log? I'm sure most of you will want to say 11, but I want to suggest to you that 14 might be a better answer, because there's a big difference between deciding to do it and actually doing it.
So it's one thing to know what your vital behaviors are, and that's actually really important. What do I need to do to make my goal come alive?
To a zone where it's just constant chaos.
The final 2 steps are about committing to resolving the issue and then inviting the other person to reply.
It requires us really to understand who we are and where we want to go, which refers us to the aspirational thinking included in the organisation's vision, mission and values. Everything we do passes through and is informed by the lens of our vision, mission and values. These tell us what we're about and what we're trying to achieve. A business strategy is the pattern of choices an organisation makes, and a leadership strategy describes the organisational and human capabilities needed to enact the business strategy effectively. Making the journey involves achieving our strategies. The journey also involves checking the progress.
The expressive person bounces into the office after the weekend on Monday morning and says, "Oh, I read this amazing article and we absolutely have to apply it to how we're teaching in the classrooms." And the amiable person would say, "Hang on, we should get everyone together to talk about this a bit first." And the analytical would say, "Hang on a second, one article, that's not enough data. Let's do some proper research before we make any decisions." And the driver would probably look up and say, "Can we all just get back to work, please?"
You're invited to either vote yellow, which if everybody votes yellow, everybody wins a certain amount of points, versus blue. If you vote blue, you have a good chance of stealing away other people's votes and just getting those votes for yourself.